Welcome.
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 Welcome. Welcome to Virginia.
To Virginia State Parks.
Welcome to Virginia State Parks.
Bienvenidos a Parques Estatales.
More than 80 years ago, a great experiment in resiliency brought about an investment in people, places, and the future of this great Commonwealth. Through the Civilian Conservation Corps, a nation was put back to work, and with that, the beginning of the Virginia State Park system was born. On June 15, 1936, Virginia State Parks opened, opening 6 parks all on the same day. And from those original 6, our state park system has grown to include 37, with more on the way. These parks encompass 71,000 acres and have hosted more than 10 million visitors in 2017 alone. They include 345 cabins, lodges, bunkhouses, and yurts, thousands of campsites, and more than 600 miles of trails. And that's just a small snapshot of all that Virginia State Parks has to offer. The Founding Fathers, those dedicated, hard-working men of the Depression, have led the way and set the tone for the hundreds of diverse men and women that carry the flag forward. They greet guests with a smile, they keep parks clean and beautiful, they keep visitors safe, protect natural and cultural resources, and that spark the interest of the next generation. Our park family is strong, and we are always looking for those leaders, those dedicated team players that will make us stronger.
I started getting into outdoor parks and rec when I was a Boy Scout, going camping in different national and state parks across the Mid-Atlantic region. I fell in love with natural resources.
I was originally going to college to be an archaeologist, and I was sitting inside one day and I looked out the window and I'm like, I just want to go outside and play. So a few months I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with myself, but I ended up in Parks and Recreation Management.
One of my first full-time jobs, I was working at a golf course outside. I absolutely loved just being outside all day. Didn't mind the insects, didn't mind the sunburn, you get used to it, put a little sunscreen on. And I went off to college. I had a really good biology professor that really interested me in the natural environment.
With a large park system like Virginia's, including numerous cultural and natural resources, you can imagine there's a large variety of tasks and opportunities each day. Just like a small city, each park needs maintenance, safety and law enforcement, hospitality services, entertainment and educational services, resource management, and so much more. All of this is done every day with excellent customer service in mind, and no matter what your title is or your area of expertise, you may be asked to pitch in on something totally new, totally different. So for many of our state park staff, there is no typical day.
My job could really be anything depending on the day. Some days I'm in here checking people in and helping guests. Some days I'm down at the boathouse helping with boat rentals. Some days I'm in the concession stand taking orders. I really can shuffle between wherever I'm needed.
We had some pipe breaks, so we're redoing some drywall right now. Sometimes I'm fixing patches in the road. Sometimes I'm blowing leaves. It varies. And then there's the law enforcement aspect of it too. Sometimes it's checking fishing license and writing parking tickets. So there really is no typical day.
Carpentry, electrical work, plumbing, landscaping. We do some trail work. We're chainsawing, and it's all over the place. And that's another great thing about it. Every day is different.
Answering emails, calling back with voicemails, doing annual passes, taking parking fees, people that come in and pay here in the office instead of the contact station. Typically I come in, check the animals, make sure they're all squared away, then I check in with my coworkers to make sure we've got all of our materials ready for programming. Typically, if it's the summer, we are doing various environmental education programs throughout the day. This time of year, we're doing more homeschool classes or weekend programs, but a lot of it is program planning, research, and some crafts thrown in.
When most people think about state parks, they envision a park ranger, khaki and green, walking through a park, greeting guests. But behind the scenes, there's a dedicated staff in the central office making things happen. From human resources to finance to procurement, there are many administrative needs that are handled away from the front lines. These teams work with and support the needs of the parks and help ensure everything runs smoothly. Another behind-the-scenes asset is the courteous and professional customer service team, filling cabins and campgrounds with happy guests and rectifying any bump in the process with understanding and patience.
We're all trained to actively listen to the customer, make sure the customer's understood and heard, and then we're empowered to solve that problem for the customer. It may be that they've had a really unhappy experience and we give them a free stay for another time.
Okay.
Whatever it takes to satisfy that customer, we do.
Not only do we have a small city's worth of positions and experiences available, we have some of the best trained team members in the business. Certified law enforcement officers, chainsaw operators, and wildland firefighters. Professionals certified in wilderness first aid, sustainable trail building, and paddling instructors. Certified interpretive guides, and so much more. Members of our state parks team often have several certifications, and as their career evolves, there are even more opportunities.
I've learned to operate chainsaws, learned to weld. That's not a skill that you usually get at home.
Prescribed burn member as a squad boss.
I got the Virginia Department of Agriculture, their pesticide herbicide registered technician one, and next week I will be going down to Newport News to get the playground safety inspector certification.
Working in concessions, I got my food safety certificate, which means I'm like certified to work with the food down there. But I'd say the biggest thing I've taken away over the past 4 years is just learning like personal responsibility.
Since 2014, I've been to more trainings than I can count to make me better at my job and a stronger leader and individual.
I'm one of our agency instructors, especially at the law enforcement side, and so I get to help out a lot in making sure all of our officers are safe and have the skills that they need to properly do their job.
It's obvious that we expect a lot from our state parks team, but we think the work is well worth the reward. From sunny summer days to star-filled nights, from beautiful snow-covered mountains to the sandy beaches of the coast, there's no day like a working hard in the park day.
I've worked at First Landing State Park, Falls Cape State Park, Twin Lakes State Park, and Pocahontas State Park, so 4.
First state park was Pocahontas, where I started my part-time career as a seasonal employee in 2002. I then promoted to Park Ranger LE over at Belle Isle, which was my second location. That's where I went through the academy, and served about 2.5 years at Belle Isle State Park, and then I moved up here in 2010 as a chief ranger.
2012, I got my shot. I got to work seasonally at Mason Neck State Park, and then was hired here at Lambey full-time.
I started basically cleaning toilets and picking up trash as a seasonal at York River State Park. That was actually the first park I worked at. It was right up the road from where I grew up, and I needed a part-time job in the summer when I was going to school. And circumstances just kind of turned out pretty good for me, and we had a hurricane came through that fall. That was Isabel, and I had a lot of chainsaw experience prior to coming to state parks, and they kept me on board. And over time, I found I really liked what I was doing. I felt like I was making a difference.
Virginia state parks are special places. They provide moments and memories for families from all over the state, the country, and the world. It is our job to ensure that every visitor has an unforgettable experience while they're enjoying a Virginia state park, and to protect and conserve these one-of-a-kind places so that future generations will be able to enjoy and appreciate the history, the cultural and natural resources, and the raw beauty that Virginia state parks encompass.
A lot of people you talk to in parks got into their jobs as a seasonal employee. That's what I did. I was weed eating, I was cleaning bathrooms. My first day on the job, I was helping clear a downed cedar tree that had poison ivy all over it. So I got poison ivy my first day on the job, but I still knew after my first day that this is what I wanted to keep doing.
If I've learned one thing over my years here, it's that there's like such a sense of community within the parks, and not just like this specific park, but the state parks like as a whole, as a system. Everyone seems super supportive, and it's like even if you don't know, someone from another park, you see them in that uniform, and it's like you have a instant connection, something to talk about. And state parks in general are really rewarding.
A real rewarding part for me is mentoring young adults. Every summer we hire in the maintenance crew about 10, 18-year-olds mostly, college students, and most of them don't stay with state parks, but every year there's a few that might be interested in staying in state parks and mentoring them along and getting them that experience.
A lot of times it's interacting with kids, which I love to do. Sometimes it just makes their day to know that that park ranger is thinking about them and they can go to that park ranger for help if they need it.
It's really fun. You get to enjoy the outdoors And working with DCR just makes you feel like you have a big, whole, happy family.